So, welcome everyone to the origin. Well, sort of all. I'm cheating a bit on this one. This is the first Final Fantasy game, specifically the PSP version of it. The FMV you're about to see is not exclusive to this. This was done for the Dawn version that included also 2 as well. So it's one of those classic static FMVs, but everything else, the sprite work, and some minor additions were redone for the PSP. And this is basically all of the stuff that you're seeing in this FMV is not stuff that actually happens really in game. It's more of an artistic representation. That the warrior with the weird helmet is the Warrior of Light, which was depicted in the artwork of Hironobu Sakaguchi. Yeah, oh my god, I already fucked up. Yoshitaka Amano, pardon me. And the reason why he's fighting a red dragon is because the game in itself was done at a time where Squaresoft was desperate in trying to find a way to saving itself from bankruptcy, as Legendary is installed. So what they did was essentially to create a game version of Dungeons and Dragons, and the red dragon was the thing that was plastered on the cover of a tabletop game. So this is basically an homage to that.
That's right. This is the
but
game.
But no joking. The reason this is called Final Fantasy because it was supposed to be the last game Squaresoft made back then, and ironically enough, it's what saved them and propelled them, to more greatness. Because at that point, one of the biggest things that Square Enix had been done was King's Knight. A very terrible game, if I would say.
Oh, King's Knight.
Anyway, as you can imagine, I actually do have a copy, but I'm using an emulator for this one, so unfortunately, if you see some frame skips here and there or some slowdowns, it's unfortunately a recording process, so bear with it. But anyway, let's start properly, because this PSP version rebalances the game. I will be able to explain more as we go on, because there's not much of a plot to go on. So let's start with setting the language in English. Anyway, by my hand, I chose these 4 Warriors of Light. First, Jova Hexion, Joran something, Vixen, the
Jova.
Warrior, Master of the Sword and Shield, and Protector of his own allies. Second, the Monk, able to defeat things by punching them really, really hard. The Master of Feast, Dweebs! Which, of course, will scream every time we to talk. Then, the White Mage, expert of healing and against the undead, Shiroi. Get it? Because the White Mage is the only girl. And lastly, but not least, the Black Mage, expert in offensive spell and buffs. I will call it P4. I don't think we're too lazy to put something else there. Anyway,
it's my first name.
The word, the lies, shrouded in darkness.
This is funny, honestly.
It's pronounced.
According to one of your description, Joy was P4. The winds die for some reason.
Yeah, we did used to call him P4 back in the day.
It was just started and already the earth was going to shit.
Yeah.
So just the two. The seas rage.
The dark ending for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is really dark.
Where is Rayquaza when you need him?
He's still sleeping.
Sorry, there. He hasn't been invented yet.
The earth decays.
And taxes are up.
But the people believe in a prophecy, patiently awaiting its fulfillment. When darkness veils the world, 4 Warriors of Light shall come.
Unfortunately, they got lost and found us instead.
After a long journey, 4 young travelers did at last appear. And in the hand of each was clutched a crystal.
I've got dibs on the ruby.
Broke mine.
Later on, Jova, you will see which crystal is for each character. But anyway, you'll start immediately here, just like in the original game. And anyway, let's do some bit of checking. Jova, like I said, is a warrior. He's equipped with a poultry knife. So he's the Black Mage. Shiroi has a staff, the blade, and Dweebs has also a staff. Here's your pro tip as I'm about to do. Remove everything from the monk, because he's much better at punching things directly, not even joking.
So I don't even get a magic quad. I have to use
No,
my fist.
you get no weapons, sir. Anyway, I will explain a bit more later, but let's talk to the people in Cornelia.
Let's face it, Wes, if you went to Hogwarts, you would be a terrible student.
This is Cornelia, the city of
Better than
dreams.
half the professors there.
Anyway, let's first turn on the flash and also the speed of the messages. There you go. It's better this way.
All right then.
This is Cornelia, the city of dreams. Welcome to Cornelia.
Thank you.
Cornelia.
Each town will mostly have an inn and some shops to help you with magic and and weapons and armors. Anyway. There you go. White magic is composed of inoffensive spells, while black magic spells are offensive. Each level of black and white magic contains 4 distinct spells. Basically, I'm summing up. Unlike future games, the original also had it, but it's a thing that they did not kept here for this remake. Magic used the system that is done in Dungeons and Dragons. In Dungeons and Dragons, you only have a finite amount of times you can cast a spell before having to you recover them by sleeping at night. Like, so you can cast 4 times on healing spell for cleric. And the original game also had a system like this. However, for the remake, they decided to ditch it in favor of a traditional MP system. This makes a game a bit more balanced towards your side, but let's be fair, in the original NES version, since it was very bugged, it was kind of like Pokemon Red and Blue, the game was severely against you, because not only the enemies were super strong, and you were very disadvantaged, most of the spell didn't even work, not even joking. I can go on potentially on and on, but I'll better save it for a later part where there's not too much going on. But the point is that this PSP version is basically the definitive version you should play. I still advocate that Square should port this, at least on Steam. Steam is severely lacking ports of Final Fantasy 1 and 2, but it has ports of pretty much the rest of the mainline series, including 3 and 4, the S version. So it should be naturally easy to carry on ports of this and 2, especially because they also received mobile ports, actually, so they are doable. So I do hope eventually for the future they will be get, just so people can be experimenting, because I argue, of course, plot-wise, compared to all the future Final Fantasy games, this is extremely basic. It's a basic plot. The characters have no chemistry or interaction whatsoever, but it's, on a gameplay point of view, it's still very fun to play and replay and experiment with different combinations, and to test your skills if you want. But again, stick to this version, because the NES version is really not fun at all. This is a church. This is a church you need to use. You don't have Phoenix, and if you have finished Phoenix Down, you will need to go here to actually revive your party members. But go on.
The way he runs looks like he's being chased by some.
Go on, Pedro.
No. It's either playing it on the PC via PSP emulator, or if you have an NVIDIA Shield or any other Android device with your TV, you get the mobile version, because the mobile version looks really good on HD TVs.
Anyway, those crystals! You will see the king at once!
I got the blue one.
There you go. Also chocobo statues. It's just as Lucan's prophecy foretold. When darkness veils the war, 4 worlds of light shall come.
Unfortunately,
Your Majesty, we cannot be certain that these are the warriors for... Of course, fucking Jafar. But yet we stand before us with the crystals. I cannot dismiss these as mere coincidence. Crystal bearers, there is a task.
It's like other people can get crystals.
Will you not rescue my daughter, Serah?
Sarah!
Garland, a knight once in His Majesty's service, has abducted Princess Serah. As per the radio name of His Majesty, the King of Cornelia, called dipshits. Garland has taken refuge in the Chaos Shrine, which conveniently lies far north. Of course, we did attempt to save the princess herself, but our military forces sucks balls. Regarding the best sportsman in the kingdom, we have no way to contrast him.
I love how in these games in these kinds of games, characters look like just
That's
walking
the
on
thing.
the spots while
It's
they're
like in
talking.
Pokemon Whip.
The interesting thing here is that if World of Final Fantasy is anything to go by, Sarah ruling on her own without the king is better at it than the king himself.
I
So-
can't believe that. I can actually believe that, but that's I want to reserve also for the final boss because there's a sort of a surprise that needs to be mentioned for the people who don't know. But again, I want to save it for the actual ending. But anyway, the point is that now go forth, warriors. Now you need to arm yourself and to actually start, defeating the local wildlife to get better and confront Garland in the Chaos Shrine. Now, in the original game, you were basically dumped with, I don't think, barely any guild to spare off, and no clue on what to do. It was literal trial and error. Here, of course, we give you a bit of better indications, and you start off with some decent money that you can decide to spend on properly. Not
Well-
only that, once again, the game was rigged against you, so even fighting the basic goblins outside of town was a pain in the ass. So even grinding for XP and money was a chore. But thankfully, in this version, it's much more streamlined.
All right, guys,
Yeah, go
we
on,
got our
Jordan.
first quest. We have to save the king's daughter.
Mhm.
And if we're lucky, I'll get to date her afterwards.
Can I ask a question?
That's a, yes.
What is
Yes.
it, Dwibs?
I haven't been to the toilet in 5 days.
Well, go before we go and rescue
That's
the
a
princess.
very
then.
specific thing to say.
Unfortunately, Dwebs, we need to save Princess Sarah so we can pay our bills. I mean, come on. Look at
Yeah,
this,
I mean-
You should have went to the bathroom like
we have
earlier.
literally
too.
nothing to our names. Outside, look at me. I have a fucking knife. A knife. Yeah. and,
I don't have anything
There
to
you go,
the
now
other
you have
one
a-
complain.
Yeah,
But
And
you're the
cheer-
monk. You work
Yeah,
better
but
without
you're-
weapons.
yeah, but you have actual physical strength that you can use. I can only use magic because my physical strength is. I might as well not even have.
And I
physical
have a
attack
stick, so stop complaining.
A
And I'm-
hammer, particularly. Now you're Amy Rose Shiro. Are you happy?
Wait. Hold on. You gave the sorceress a hammer. What about me, the
Surprise-
warrior?
It's a way to make the game a bit more balanced by trying to the later versions try to do this to be a bit more balanced and having the orchestra's potential physical offense. Later weapons will also be compatible with them, believe it or not.
I wonder who did the arrangements of these.
I actually surprisingly don't know. The original scores
correctly, I
was
think it was the guy who did the arrangements for the 3 remake. I think.
the original scores was of course done by Nobuo Uematsu, but it was very limited. We didn't have stuff. We didn't have a boss film to begin with. Every single battle had the same jingle, even the last one with the final boss. But thankfully, the later version implemented actual boss themes and the final boss theme. So there is some original material attached to it.
Also,
Again,
sweet. I got.
my suggestion: get at least Cure and Dia first, because will help you immensely, for healing options and some offense for your white mage. But of course, stack also fire, at least fire and thunder. Yes,
Oh.
Jova?
Also, sweet. I finally have a rapier now. Now, this is much better than just a dinky knife.
I know.
Yes,
Anyway-
and I'm not gonna get focus and sleep because those are status-inducing spells, and those for the most part just kind of suck.
So, Tia, what does the party have now, weapon-wise?
Well, Jova
Yeah,
is armed. Jova is armed with a rapier. Pupu is properly armed with a staff.
Got my fist.
Shiroi has a hammer, and Dweeb's got a rock.
Yes. Your weapons are these fists are yours, as Zell would say. That's why I cast your Zell in Final Fantasy.
Anyway, let's start the combat. You even get a preemptive strike, you lucky sons of bitches. Anyway, the combat, this is what also pioneered along with Dragon Quest and later on Shin Megami Tensei,
Yes.
the turn-based system. Your characters are on a grid. In this case, it actually was revolutionary because it was like in this overview, because most RPGs back then, like Dragon Quest, were in a first view, but here this was like the revolutionary one,
It
because
was.
you could actually see your characters. Your characters are your characters are on one side, the enemy on the other, duke it out, and the last man standing wins. These first couple of chapters in particular also were well, a bit more static-y, quote-unquote, in a sense that you choose all your actions with no real pressure whatsoever. You can strategize on what you want. And then, depending on the speed stats, the actual turns will occur, again, just like in D&D with initiative, and like a character will strike first, or an enemy will strike afterward, and so on, until the turn is concluded, and then who survives has to strategize for the next one. Go on, Pedro.
Another primary big innovation this game had in comparison to Dragon Quest I was the fact that it had multiple party members. Because the original Dragon Quest game, you were just playing as one character and that's it. There was literally no party.
This is also...
Detail, non-existence of parties was always in the genre from the beginning.
This also combines with the experimentation derived from the class system. Each class has its own specialization. Like I said, the warrior is the tank of a group, absorbs more damage, and so have more HP and, deals more damage. The monk is more like the glass cannon, the thief tends to be more agile, the red mage is a jack of all stats, for example. This is stuff for later, so don't worry, I'll just mention that because, guess what, Shiri? The dwarf speaks Scottish here! Long ago you could enter, but the waves being shut seeing that the land began to decay.
It's because,
I know Alice is gonna kill me for this, but I don't care. Anyway, the point is that
right now, so.
these... Well, she may listen to the video later on.
Well,
but
actually, isn't Alice... I don't think... Isn't Alice not Welsh?
Scottish, like I said.
Alice is Scottish.
Well, you said Welsh, though.
No, I said Scottish.
Tia said Scottish.
But the point is that those dungeons will be available after you defeated certain bosses in the game. These were added in the Game Boy Advance version and they stuck with this. What are those dungeons? They're basically the fan service cameo dungeon, but I reserve that for the last sections of the game. I will focus more on the rest of the main story firsthand.
Okay.
Anyway, like I said, but the experimentation of classes means also that you can do whatever you want. People love to do challenges with this and have, for example, one white mage run, or an entire white mage run, or just a single, like a full monk run, which is possible. All of these are possible, by the way. They require a lot of patience and try and error, but they are possible.
Yep. All right.
Anyway, let's set 4 warriors into the Chaos Shrine.
Okay.
That it's actually a really straightforward, walk in the park right now. You just literally have to go through here, surrounded by 5 bats. I wonder. Anyway, the king will have no choice but to exchange the kingdom for his daughter's life. Cornelia will be mine.
Not if we have
By the
anything
way,
to say about
Garland
it.
is voiced by Christopher Sabat in later version. He's awesome. Who's there? The king's lapdogs. Do you have any idea who you're messing with? You really think you have what it takes to cross swords with me? Very well, get ready for a meme line. I, Garand, will knock you all down!
Bring it on, then.
I don't know what was in that line that was so weird, but we actually kept it from the original English localization.
Come on, guys. The sooner we can beat him, the sooner we can get paid and finally be able to pay the bills back at home.
Oh yeah, just to mention, because this is the first major test to show, Vips, I hope you're not really caring about dying a lot, because that's what's gonna happen to you. And I mean through the entire game. You're the punching bag of the team.
Nice that you think so hard.
Well, the game does it, not for me.
Well, let's think about it. I'm the warrior, so I deal out, of course, the lead damage. Shiroi's the white mage, so we need her for the healing. And Pedro's probably gonna have the pretty strong spells.
So I'm basically Dwib's babysitter for this run, okay?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
you have no idea.
I mean, Shiri is, well, Shiri is older than these.
And just like that, he is down.
Burned to a crisp thanks to the fire spell.
Yeah.
Well
Basically,
done.
I'm
Okay,
doing all the heavy lifting here.
Okay, everyone, we've won. Everyone, flap your arms in victory.
Jazz hands.
It's good exercise.
Or is it rather caramel dancing if it's like that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure Nico had videos about that. You come to rescue me. I don't know how I can ever thank you.
Well,
I
can
am
think of
Sarah,
a few
Princess
ways.
of Cornelia. In case you didn't notice. That's the first time anyone's ever defeated Garland. Why? You must allow me to show my gratitude. Please, accompany me to Castle Cornelia. Sorry, the wait.
pleasure.
Yes. Alright, let's see. Thank you for returning my daughter to my side. There can be no doubt that you are the warriors of light to Lucan's prophecy. Why, you really took that to convince you. You should hear the prophecy in entirety. If I may, when darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. If they cannot gather the shards of light, the darkness will consume all. 4 crystals will never shine again. Now, I hear that a crystal can be found on the continent to our north. Restoring light to the crystals is our only hope for riddling the world of the monsters which plague it. Which means
I have a question.
I will have the original bridge as promised. Yes, sir?
I never asked for any of this. Why
Yeah.
don't you
Sorry,
do this again?
that's your life now, deep
We're the
sister.
chosen ones on high. Like,
I told
Also,
you guys.
by the way, even for this remake, that's the extent of the direction you're gonna get for the time being, believe it or not. A lot of his early, at least early game, is a bit, not complete trial and error, because you have a world map if you want to analyze and see where you're going, but
Sweet, I got a
giving
loot.
indication... Yeah, specific loot. This is a Chekhov's gun if I ever saw one, because it will be useful only at the tail end of a game. Not even joking.
Hey guys, look, the princess gave me a loot. I have no idea what it's to be used for, but
Well,
I guess it's nice.
Don't we deserve some kind of bigger reward for saving the freaking princess?
Seriously.
Well,
No.
Warrior Jova, are you capable of playing an instrument?
Yes.
Seriously. Jova, seriously. All the quests we do.
And look at
You
that.
always get the biggest. You always get
your
They
reward
literally
is my
build-
gratitude. Now shut up.
They literally rebuild the bridge by lefting the right hand up and down.
It looks like they're jacking
Do
off.
faster, do it faster.
Faster!
Honestly,
Faster!
can't get to the rhythm of the music.
Faster!
My God,
Alright.
Jova, it's like in that Batman story. My God, will someone stop the tracking?
I can imagine how this. I can imagine how
People
this goes,
say that
actually.
about the supersonic transformation sequence
can,
from SA2.
I can imagine how this goes, actually. Alright then, everyone, the harder we fap, the more the bridge will be completed.
Pretty much.
It's also like that panel in Captain America comic. Captain America, I command you to wank. Anyway, so that's it. Well, at least we have a bit of a rest of time to go to the bridge. But that's basically your first introduction. It's kind of interesting, even for the original game. This was kind of revolutionary, even with a basic plot. The first thing you do, it's something that you would think a common fairy tale will say. Rescue the princess from the bad guy. But it's literally the first thing you do, and it sets the basis up. You only have more stuff to do afterward as a result. This is also a bit important compared to the average D&D session, because the first thing you do in D&D is usually killing a lot of kobolds, basic monsters. Anyway, time for the beautiful main Final Fantasy theme, and this classic still image of it are the warriors of light standing on a cliff with the lake. Anyway,
Such a great
and
view.
so the quest began. Very slowly.
Text 2.
As the warriors of light, they felt overwhelmed by
Guys,
the
look
great
up!
task the destiny had.
Hey guys, look up in the
Please, before
clouds!
them.
A bunch of text narrating our venture.
It's your exposition, Warrior Jova. Shut up. They did not even know the true significance of the 4 crystals they held in their hands.
What?
Guys, I have a question.
What?
The crystals that once,
Who even are we exactly?
long ago, held the
are a
light
bunch
that
of guys who met in college where
Shown
we
so
got these
brilliantly.
crystals.
I mean, for some reason, my parents wrote my name on my birth certificate in capitals.
My parents really came up
the
with a
time
cool
for
name
their
me.
journey had come.
I remember I won my blue crystal in a game of blackjack.
The time to cast
Well,
off the veil of
well,
darkness and brings the world.
Well, that's just for you. I am a black mage, which means I was created, not born, so I don't
Once
even
more
know.
into the light. Well, later games after 9 sort of still managed to make it more of a profession than just an automaton, so there is that.
Are we nothing more than just constructs made by the desperate whims of a company?
Dweebs, what did we told you about being stoned? Come on. You had to lay off with the rock
Tio, this weed isn't gonna smoke itself, you know.
Seriously, Dweebs, this is
No, it's
literally...
like that still image of Mary.
Dweebs, this is literally how you...
And that was Final Fantasy. I hope you enjoyed the game. So, what final thoughts?
Well, I have to say, it's quite an interesting start to the franchise, you know, and I must say, look forward to Final Fantasy 2. And
not even kidding, although this is actually perfect as a demo to be released. It's literally just playground, first boss, and then it cuts off as the adventure is about to begin, involving you to go around the world. But anyway, join for the next part, as these brave warriors and whips will have to find ways of transportation to get to the first crystal. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.